Hi everyone, welcome back to another memory plan with me. So I'm going to try voiceover again. This particular session here took me well over 2 hours, so I thought if I could do a voiceover and speed things up a little bit, it could help it be more quicker, much more quick. So I have an idea of what I'm going to use in this spread, and at the same time I don't. I just grabbed a whole bunch of things that looked, good to me. You know me, I love the vintage look, so that's why I have all this vintagey kind of stuff. I actually don't end up using a lot of it, but I just look through things before I start, putting a spread together for inspiration and ideas, so that way as I go, I can remember what I have out in case I want to use it. So I just put everything over to the side and open up my memory planner, and I go to the last spread that I did with you guys here. I haven't written on it or anything yet, but the pocket there on the right, I realize wasn't sticking down 100%. So yeah, right there in that left corner. So I reinforced that with that. I was going to use that heavy duty glue, and then I realized that's not quite going to do it. So I thought I would try this glue here, which is, it says it's good for fabric and paper and all of that. So I thought, well, let's try this and see if it's stronger than the glue stick. And it was, actually. It worked very well. I just got that at my local craft store, and I haven't really used it. So it reminds me of, when you're in grade school, when you're little and you're doing arts and crafts. It reminds me of that glue. So this here is the spread that I'm doing the week of April 4th, I believe it was. I already have my pictures printed and planned out. So again, I use the selfie printer by Canon, and then I just glue or use my adhesive tape runner, whatever that's called, to tape my pictures down. I love this scrapbook paper pad that I got a long time ago from Michael's. It's the Recollections brand. So I was basically using this as a jumping off point. Lots of room to journal on the front, and I like how it's lined. And then I can put my pictures underneath. So when I open up the spread, it's not all pictures, and it's just the writing. That was my intention behind it. So I'm folding a little piece there, and I'm going to glue that piece down so that it can fold open. And first I'm getting this ink. It's like a vintage photo paper ink, I believe. And just doing the sides there to make it look a bit grungy and, more vintagey before I glue it down. It's much easier to do it before it's glued down. So once I have the edges inked, then I'm just folding the paper just to make it look a little like not so perfect and more, I guess, vintagey and used, so that it doesn't look so perfect and flat. So I wanted to give it a little bit of texture, just to add to that whole vintage vibe. So sometimes I print my pictures out in a collage and put the pictures down just like that. And I like how it looks with the border, but then oftentimes I end up cutting the border off. So I don't always do the border, but when I do, I have every intention of putting it down with the border. And so this time I decided I wasn't going to put it down on my paper as a collage. So I didn't want it to look so plain, like just having that vintage kind of paper on a stark white sheet. So I'm grabbing some strips. These are scraps from other projects that I've done, that I've kept the scraps because you never know when you could use them in a project. So that's what I'm doing here, is just grabbing some that would complement that piece of paper, and then I'm going to glue it down on top of that strip on the side. And I really like how that looks. Like, I'm new to this kind of crafting. It's like a combination of, you know, junk journaling. I've been watching a lot of junk journaling videos. I just find it fascinating and I love it. I can't wait to make my first junk journal. Not quite ready to jump into that just yet, nor do I have the time. But yeah, so I'm just having fun and kind of easing my way into it via scrapbooking and memory keeping. And I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. And what I like about doing it this way is I'm learning what I like and what I don't like, so that when I do go to make a junk journal, I'll have a better idea of what I, you know, what I want to do. Because when I make a junk journal, I want to make it functional, something that won't just sit on the shelf, but something that I will actually journal in. So I want the aesthetic to be very pleasing, and I want it to be pretty, and, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, anyways, so as you can see, I'm just playing around with the different strips to see what I like and what I think will complement what I'm doing. Now I'm just playing around with sticker books and everything else that I took out and have on my desk, just to kind of get some inspiration. I didn't really have a plan before I started. I just thought, well, you know what, I'm just going to get started and hopefully inspiration will come to me, which is probably why this took so stinking long. I don't know how people, especially the people I follow online, how they get it done so quickly, or I should say on YouTube. They seem to get it done so quickly, but it really takes me a while to find that inspiration. And I guess I probably don't do this enough. I'm not as consistent, so I'm sure if I were consistent, I was actually doing this on a regular basis, it would be easier and I have more of a flow. So I know that that is part of it too. All right, so I'm gonna give that a break, and while I am kind of figuring out what I want to do, I figure I will start getting my pictures ready to put down. So this is a lace punch that I got off of Amazon, and I love, it's like hearts, lace hearts, and I just love embellishing photos and anything really with that. It's really fun. It doesn't hold very much until the confetti starts to come out of that little holder, so you can see the confetti on my page there, but I keep it because I will actually use some of it. So I'll put some glue down. I believe I put that on the front page just as a little like a little accent. So anything can be used to create a spread. So if you've been following me for a while, you might remember I had this vintage paper pack that I got from Amazon, and there's 3 little sections in this what do you call it, this paper pad thingy. Oh gosh, I can't form words right now. It's not a paper pad, but little packages. But each one came with a vellum, and I at one point had them in my planner. So I thought, let's get these out and see what I can use, because they're all vintage. It was a vintage paper pack. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested. But yeah, there's a couple of car ones, and I'm commemorating my son buying his first car, which he picked up on at the beginning of April. And he saved up for it. He's a realtor as well, in case you didn't know that. And so he's about a year and a half in as a realtor. And so he's been saving every single penny from his commissions. And he bought this car, his very first brand new car. So I thought it would be good to have this vintage sheet in there with the vintage car. So I thought that was fun. So I put that in there, and then I made like a strip and put those little pictures of his car on that strip to glue down, so that it would take less room, so that I could embellish and decorate. So I just put a bunch of like little quotes and things like that down there. I really like how this turned out. So to keep it all consistent, I'm doing the edges with that same ink pad, because even though like that's black and white, that sheet that I'm putting down, it is a little, I don't know, what's the right word, perfect or something along those lines. So I inked around the edges, and then this here that I'm inking now, I'm putting that down as a pocket to put that picture in, and that is from a printable shop, junk journaling printable shop on Etsy. I believe it's either Back to the Source or Pink Monarch Prints. One of those two. So I thought that added to the vintage vibe, and I'm using that as a pocket, and I folded down the top there to make it look more used and not so perfect, and of course inked around to make it look more vintage. And I just love how this is turning out. I just wanted to say, if you notice any inconsistencies in my voice, the first part, or the part before now that you've been listening to, I filmed that a couple of weeks ago. And then I'm finishing this video today, and I was at a party last night at a client's house, and we were there for 8 hours, and there was music, and there was so many people there, and so my voice, both Ryan and I, our voices are very raspy today, so I do apologize. Anytime my voice has cracked or anything like that, I've deleted it and redid the voiceover. So if there is any of that, I apologize. I tried very hard to sound as consistent as I can. One of my favorite parts of doing memory planning is once I have my photos down and I know where they're going, I love the embellishing part, like getting the quotes or extra pictures or stickers or what have you to bring that spread to life. It's like one of my absolute favorite parts of this whole process. I was really struggling with that picture. I wanted to have, I didn't want to just put the picture in that envelope by itself. I wanted it to be on something. So I was just playing around with all sorts of different options. And I have a whole bunch of tags from like these printable shops that I've printed over the last few months. And so just looking to see what kind of fits the color scheme of my vintage look here. I finally settled on a tag, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's got some like pinky tones in it, but that's okay. I think it looks good. And then I end up punching a hole in the top of that tag and putting some twine in there, and it looks really cute. So now it's time for side 2, but this didn't last long because I wasn't feeling inspired. So just playing around here. I really like this sheet of scrapbook paper. I really wanted to use that, but I couldn't make it work. So once I wasn't feeling it, so I set that aside and then moved on to the first side that I worked on, and I grabbed that confetti from that lace punch, and I was just playing around there thinking, okay, how can I want it to make a little cluster of little heart confetti, and so that's what I'm doing there. Use my glue stick, and you can see I'm getting whatever scraps I can get out of the punch, and then just placing them down as best I can. And then I grab a couple little sequin type confetti that I have, and I think it came with this punch. When I got this punch, I got it off of Amazon, and I think it came with a little pink, like a little plastic, yeah, there it is, little plastic thingy there, and it has the little pink confetti. So I was like, I'm just gonna see if I can glue that down as well, and it worked out really well. So I put some in the top left corner, and then I decided to embellish on the bottom left corner where I have that pink lacy, meshy, not lacy, but like that meshy type material that I put down, and then I put some of those pink sequins on it, and yeah, it just brings it all together. It's so cute. All right, here is the finished result before I move on to the second side. Oh, so you'll notice I tried really hard to make that scrapbook piece work because I wanted both sides to be cohesive and match to some degree. Because they are, I mean, it's the same week, but it's like, you have your left side and your right side, but, when you're flipping through, I just really want them to match. And so I was trying really hard to make that work, but ultimately I set it aside and I found something that worked much better. So this piece of paper here was from a printable shop, one of those junk journaling printable shops. I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head if it was Back to the Source or Pink Monarch Prints. I'm not 100% sure, but this was printed on cardstock, and it's too thick to put in my binder, so I kept it because I knew I would use it in junk journaling or memory planning. And I think that it worked quite well with the spread because this is all about the amazing rainbow that we saw at the lake. So because these colors, the more pink and lighter tones, I covered it with the other side of the scrapbook paper that I tore off of the left side. It was actually a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, so I cut it in half, trimmed it down so that it would fit in this memory planner here. And so then I figured I would do all of my journaling on the front, and that way when I first open the spread, it's cohesive. Because I do like it to match, aesthetically. It's more pleasing to my eye when I open up my pages, and each week is cohesive and matches. That's something that I really like. So I'm just trying to figure this spread out. I know that I like the pink and the pink and the blues and the lighter colors, but again, I'm trying to make that one sheet work, and I think I finally here realized, okay, it's not going to work. So I put it back in the pad, and then I'm just flipping through looking for inspiration. I just, I felt like something's missing. I can't just put this down and not have anything else. So I start flipping through this little sticker book that I got at, I think, the Dollar Tree. No, actually, our local fabric store that we have here. And it's for weddings. So there's a lot of pictures that I take with my husband that even though like we're not newlyweds anymore, we're not, newly married or anything like that, but there's still like romantic quotes in those types of sticker books. So I was just flipping through to see if I can find one, and I did end up finding one from that sticker book that says soulmates. And then I did end up adding that to that strip of the smaller pictures. And then this here is one of those tags from, I believe, Pink Monarch Prints, one of the digital kits that I purchased off of Etsy. And I'm thinking with this one here, I will make a little tuck spot to put the extra pictures that don't match the rainbow theme, because I still want to put them down because they're memories from this week, but they are not related to the rainbow week. So one of the pictures is our cottage. Now that the snow has melted and spring has sprung, we took a nice picture of our cottage. And then the other picture that I decided to keep in this week was a picture of myself and a couple ladies that we went out for lunch together from my brokerage and had a brainstorming session on what we can do to support ladies in real estate. We do have every month like a get together, not just our brokerage, but in our region. Which is nice. So yeah, we're just brainstorming on what we can contribute. So that was a really nice lunch that we had. First time the three of us got together outside of the office. So that was really nice. So I decided to keep those two. There was another picture in there. It's a frame. I took a picture of a frame. It's a house that we sold, and they're Harry Potter fans, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well. And so it was a picture of a quote from the Harry Potter movie, and then that was their key holder. So I took a picture of it because I thought it was so cute. I was going to put it in my memory planner, but ultimately it didn't fit. So I took that one out. And you know what? That's okay. I've learned that that is okay. Not every picture that I print out will work in a spread. I've accepted that. I used to force them and try and make them all fit. And yeah, I have accepted that. So sometimes, like, I don't always print out my pictures when I'm going to be creating a spread. I'll print them out in advance because there's some photos that I don't need to keep in my camera roll and I want to delete. So I'll just print them out, a few weeks ahead of when I plan on doing a spread. And so this was one of those cases where I just printed a whole bunch of pictures, and then it's like once I start to create, I realize what works and what doesn't work. So don't be hard on yourself if you have extra stuff that you planned on using that just doesn't end up working. It's totally fine. So here I decided to put, so the two pictures that I'm going to use, I glued them on to this little strip. It's a pretty floral strip that I had in my stash. So I put one on one side and one on the other. And it turned out so cute. I love how it turned out. So yeah, I didn't like it being horizontal. So I switched them to be vertical and a little bit crooked. I did that on purpose and I love it. So it's just tucked in there. So I pull that out then when I'm looking at the spread. And those are the extra memories that I had for that week. And there's that sticker that says soulmates that I end up putting down. But I end up moving it from that location because it just sticks out too much and it doesn't look, 100% in place. And then underneath that rainbow picture on the right, I put some of that same pink mesh type of material that I used on the left side of the page. And then I put one of these quotes underneath of it. So from, I believe it was Pink Monarch Prince, I have a whole bunch of little quotes that I've been saving. They're for junk journaling, but yeah, they're really cute. These ones here that I'm cutting, these are from that scrapbook paper pad. So it's very tedious because they're very small. But some of these quotes are really nice, so I'll use them in certain spreads if it works. But then you'll see the bigger quotes that I use are from the printable shop. So I'm really enjoying this spread, actually. I think I'm enjoying this side more than the left side. And it was so magical this day. It rained. We were at the cottage. It wasn't really warm. It was a little bit chilly. So Ryan, after it rained, he's like, I just want to go drive around the lake and just, see how things look. And I was like, yeah, you go ahead. And then he called me and he said, there's the biggest rainbow I have ever seen. So I was like, why are you calling me and telling me about it? You should already be on your way to pick me up so that we can go see it. But when I walked out of our front door, it was just raining just a little bit and I could see the rainbow. It was incredible. And so then he was only like 2 or 3 minutes away. So then we drove to a clear part of the lake and then we were able to see, it was a full rainbow and the reflection off the lake was just stunning. It only lasted about 15 minutes, but it was the most magical thing I think I've ever seen. I love rainbows and Ryan knows that, so he was just as excited as I was. Okay, so I figured out what I wanted to do here. So I decided like less is more for this one here because I really want that rainbow to just stand on its own. So I put a little bit of that pink meshy material there and then glued on this quote that says, expect miracles. I thought that was just so perfect because I really do feel like rainbows are miracles. They're just so, so beautiful and it's not something that you see every day. So this frame sticker, I tried to peel it up because there were quite a few bubbles in it. So I tried to peel it up to see if I can put it down more smooth, but I wasn't able to. So I left it alone and I'll just have to deal with it. Lesson learned. I was able to, after the fact, like I really worked on it and I did get a lot of the bubbles out. I have since purchased a tool to do that, but yeah, that was unexpected. So this here is from that same paper pad that all the other kind of grayish tones are from. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything vintagey that I could put on this spread to tie it into the left side. But ultimately, there just really wasn't. So I played around with it for a little bit and then put it away. And then, so that top left corner, I figured that definitely needed something. So I played around with that for quite a bit as well before remembering that I had some doilies, some paper doilies. And so that I embellished with the paper doilies and put some cute quotes down on that. I love that paper pad so much, that vintage paper pad that I got from Michael's. I got it a very long time ago. I have the 12 by 12 and then this one here I think is 8 by 8. They're identical, so I have a smaller one and a larger one. Because I loved it so much, I wanted to have it in the 2 sizes. So I keep trying to make something work out of this book. So that little piece there that I cut out, it's like a vintage looking kind of library card-ish. Like it says title at the top and then date due and then author, borrower's name. So it's kind of like a vintage library card. I just thought it was so cute. So ultimately though, it just didn't work on this spread. So I used it on the other side, the part that I'll be journaling on. And I thought I could either leave it as is or I might journal on it. But on the back, there's this really pretty sticker from one of the Happy Planner sticker books that says, when it rains, look for rainbows. And I thought, when else am I going to use that sticker? And like, it's perfect for this spread because this is an epic rainbow. So I put it on the back of that card because the sticker on its own didn't really go with the theme. So I put it on the back of that little vintage library card thingy there, for lack of better words, so that it's still there, and when I turn it over, I can still see it, but everything is cohesive and matches. I recently coffee dyed envelopes and paper. It was really fun and so much easier than what I thought. So that's what that is there that I have behind that little library card. I thought, is there a way that I can use this coffee dyed paper? But it just didn't work. So I thought it might, because the color of, like, on that right side, that rectangular piece of paper there, it has the pink border, but it is sort of that beigey, vintagey sort of look. But ultimately it just, the paper itself still has the pink undertones, and the coffee dyed paper did not, so it didn't work. So then I was like, you know what, these paper doilies are going to work just fine. And so that's what I did there, is I went around the edges with the ink to grunge them up a little bit, and then the quotes that I put down there, the words were, "Never lose your sense of wonder." And it just suits, and it's so whimsical and so pretty. All right, here's the finished result. I am all done. I may down the road, like when I get to journaling, there's that sticker, "When it rains, look for rainbows." So pretty. When it's time to do the journaling, I may, you know, get some inspiration and add on to the decoration and the embellishment. But for now, I think this is good enough, and I think it turned out really well. I really like it. And then on the back of that card with Tyler in his car there, that could be a journaling spot as well if I need some more room, but if not, it works just fine. So here's a close-up. So that top picture is myself and Ryan and Tyler with our wonderful car dealer lady. What is their title? I don't even know what their title is, but she's actually a client of ours. We've bought and sold a couple houses with her and her husband, so I thought that was very sweet of Tyler to choose her dealership when it was time to buy his car. So that was wonderful, because they were just lovely. Like, Tyler did the open houses and, and things like that, and they were very grateful for all three of us, getting them across the finish line. So it's very sweet of Tyler to do that. And look at those rainbows. Oh my goodness. What a magical moment. I think the bigger picture of the full rainbow, I'm going to print that bigger, and I think I'm going to frame that and put that at my cottage. Just haven't done it yet. I hope you enjoyed this video. One thing that I've learned by just filming, this was 2 hours of footage. It took me 2 hours to do this spread, you guys. I'm out of practice. I don't think I enjoy the voiceover. I think next time I'm going to, it was a lot of work actually. It was more work for me to cut this down and do the voiceover than it would be just to talk through it. So I think my next one will be me talking through it. So if you're still here, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, whether it be memory planning, regular planning, and all the other little things that I like to share with you guys. Here's one last look before I say goodbye. Thanks again, you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!